The revolution that Starlink is going to bring is not so far away anymore. Elon Musk came with his insane future plan that he wants to carry out in 2022 with Starlink. Is another wonder going to happen by Elon Musk and his team? Let's find out. Welcome to Elon Musk Tube. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update on SpaceX, Tesla, Starship, or anything related to the multi-talented, influential tech icon and billionaire Elon Musk. So without any further delay, let's start. If the world wasn't already reliant on the internet to keep us linked and the global economy running, studying, buying, socializing, and amusing ourselves at home, living in this world would have been very different. Still, far too many of us are stuck with subpar alternatives for connecting to the internet, which severely limits our ability to participate in this new cyber world. Quality connections are especially uncommon in remote areas with low population density, and it is frequently teachers, parents, and students who bear the brunt of it when schools abandon in-person instruction and printed assignments in favor of virtual classes and digital homework. It's not simply a lack of internet possibilities. In many locations, the underlying difficulty is a lack of affordable options. Elon Musk's initiative, Starlink, tries to solve the problem for us. Starlink is a branch of SpaceX that provides satellite-based internet access. SpaceX promises that after the Starlink constellation is fully deployed, every location on the planet's surface will have access to high-speed, low-latency internet connectivity. Starlink was founded in 2014 and its first operational satellites were launched in 2019. Starlink eventually intends to have up to 42,000 satellites orbiting the globe. Elon Musk, CEO of SpaceX, stated, "We're really talking about something which is, in the long term, like rebuilding the internet in space." The internet in space is nothing new. We've had this for a while, but we've never used it much because it's traditionally been pretty bad. If you've ever tried to use in-flight Wi-Fi on a commercial plane while flying over the sea or high mountains, you've used satellite internet. And anyone who's used it understands that this type of Wi-Fi connection objectively fails to satisfy the users. The benefit of Starlink is its reduced latency. HughesNet, which controls over 60% of the satellite internet industry, launches its satellites into geosynchronous Earth orbit, GEO, which is approximately 22,000 miles above the Earth's surface. The considerable distance from the ground station to the satellites and back creates a delay of 500 to 800 milliseconds only to cross the distance to the satellite. This is sufficient for internet surfing and video streaming, but it is insufficient for real-time activities like gaming and video conferencing. By comparison, Starlink's space boxes are in low Earth orbit, which means they're about 340 miles above the surface, substantially lower than our in-flight Wi-Fi satellites. This lowering in distance alone would make this process far superior to anything else on the market. But the low orbital height also translates to a reduced viewing angle for their ground-based receivers, which means Starlink needs a very dense constellation of space boxes in or near the ground. Starlink currently has roughly 1,400 operating satellites, with over 1,800 satellites deployed in total. The 400 missing spacecraft have either failed or been deactivated. SpaceX already controls more than half of all operational satellites orbiting our globe. As this satellite coverage expands, Starlink will be able to provide broadband internet to an increasing number of people, including those who have never had the option to access high-speed internet at home. All the technical details about Starlink. A satellite dish about the size of a normal satellite TV dish and a Starlink modem connect the satellites to a user's home network. The Ka and Ku radio bands are used by satellites to connect with the Earth. The Ka band is quicker, but the Ku band is better at penetrating weather and obstacles that may hinder the satellite's line of sight with the Earth. The Ku band is used to interact with user terminals, whereas the Ka band is used to connect with ground stations. Lasers are used to communicate between the satellites. The consumer's message is transferred from satellite to satellite until it reaches the ground station closest to them. The communication is subsequently sent to the nearest Starlink point of presence, POP, on the terrestrial internet, where it is treated as normal internet traffic. Starlink has an arrangement with Google to have a ground station and a point of presence, POP, at each of their data centers, linking Starlink to the terrestrial internet. Satellites with lasers on board can also be used to send data across larger distances. In the vacuum of space, a laser can carry data at up to 6 times the speed of fiber optic cable. In terms of transoceanic communications, laser-equipped satellites in low Earth orbit might significantly surpass underwater fiber optic cable. A very conventional Wi-Fi router and a large, hefty power brick provide power to both the dish and the router through Ethernet cords. The dish and router typically draw 80 to 100 watts during normal operation, which is a lot more than a regular satellite dish, which runs at around 30 watts. And this is because dishy is much more than your regular satellite TV receiver, which can be a disadvantage if you're trying to run Starlink in an off-grid scenario with solar panels. Dishy is a self-positioning robot that can find the ideal angle for commencing service. You just switch him on and he sorts himself out, with an interior that looks more like a computer than a satellite dish. A small computer within the dish controls dozens of small antennas that are continually targeted at the most available Starlink satellite as they pass overhead, and everything is managed by a small computer that runs Linux on a 4-core ARM-based CPU. Problems and solutions. Elon Musk recently dismissed accusations from ESA Director Joseph Ashbacher that Starlink was taking up more space than was required. Musk stated in response that there is enough space for tens of billions of space objects due to the vastness of the space. Some satellites fail to orbit after launch, while others are deorbited by the firm on purpose. The constellation's satellites are roughly the size of a big dining table, measuring around 9 feet long and weighing 560 pounds each, with a surface area of about 30 feet long and 9 feet broad. The solar panel dwarfs the satellite body. A krypton Hall effect thruster is installed on each satellite. The thruster creates thrust by ionizing krypton molecules with electricity and then directing a plasma stream with a magnetic field. The thruster is used to keep the satellite in orbit, move it, and deorbit it at the end of its life. The Hall thruster is so effective that the krypton fuel in the satellite will survive for years. On board the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket, 60 satellites are launched at a time. In October 2020, Starlink started beta testing with customers primarily along the US-Canada border, as this is the area of the world with by far the highest concentration of satellites currently offered, and Elon claims that they have expanded to as many as 100,000 active users as of this summer, with over 500,000 signed up to get connectivity testers. They pay $500 for their startup kit and then $100 per month for the service. Starlink isn't cheap, with a $500 deposit necessary to cover equipment expenses, and stargazers have expressed worries about the rising amount of light pollution in the night sky, but its development in 2022 will be worth watching, as it strives to connect as many people as possible. 2022 update. SpaceX plans to launch its second cluster of Starlink satellites with a Falcon 9 rocket launch to kick off the new year. The company's 34th dedicated Starlink launch will deliver an unknown number of flat-panel satellites into orbit, the quarter-ton spacecraft to navigate to their functioning orbits 540 kilometers above Earth using krypton-fueled ion engines. So far, SpaceX has launched 1,944 satellites, with a long-term goal of deploying 42,000 in total. Currently, the Starlink network serves over 20 nations with internet access. The money will go toward the creation of the Starship, the spacecraft that will transport humans to Mars. Starlink fills a significant vacuum in internet connectivity. It also has a strategy that has allowed it to be the first to market with a product that is future-proofed against rivals. All of this coincides with a wider societal trend that is dispersing employees away from centralized workplaces and increasing demand for high-speed internet in an increasing number of locations. It's an exciting period for the internet, and it may usher in even more changes than the early 2000s .com boom. That's all, guys. I hope this video could provide all the information you wanted about Starlink. If you have any more information about this new update, please put them in the comments. Don't forget to hit the like button for the sake of the YouTube algorithm, share the video with your friends, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Do not forget to press the bell icon. I will see you in the next video. Until then, peace.